Hey everyone, DFA here, welcome back to the channel, and yes, we do have a new Tier 8 Premium CV, an Italian one this time after the very underwhelming Tier 6 French CV, the Béarn, which was AP based and had really strong fighters. How is actually going to be this one? Because Wargaming does seem to have a problem with new CVs, introducing new CVs into the game in a balanced way. So yeah, let's take a look at this one to see if it is any different. And there we have it next to the other Tier 8 CVs in the game, and yes, immediately we notice survivability, it's pretty decent. Maneuverability, yeah, the top speed is the weakest at the tier, but it's certainly not a Béarn, almost 30 knots. Yeah, you can run away from trouble with that thing pretty easily, and the maneuverability is actually quite good. The guns, it does not really have any, so let's get that out of the way. This is not a brawler. And yeah, the dive bombers, that's where it gets interesting. 35 of them, quite a lot actually. 5 more than the Indomitable. And yeah, the DPM, it's pretty similar, 9,200. The accuracy, it's also pretty similar to the Indomitable. But yeah, they do differ in two very important ways. The first one is not a fire chance, because they are AP dive bombers, so you cannot play that game. That's number one. And number two, it's the HP pool. These planes, yeah. 3000 HP per dive bomber, that's quite a lot, and you multiply that by 35 and you get the idea. You have a bigger hangar than the Hornets dive bombers and the Indomitables dive bombers, so yeah, it's pretty hard to deplane that thing actually. And so yeah, the main difference with the Indomitable is the torpedo bombers. This one gets 12 torpedo bombers, but yeah, it's pretty much red everywhere because they're very poor. The damage, it's only 1400 per torpedoes, and you're only shooting 3 of these torpedoes. The HP 1558, so that's very low as well. So these things, they will get murdered on their way to the target if you do not protect them, and they will get absolutely demolished by AA. So you have to be really careful in how you're using them, and the floating chance is actually not that great as well. So yeah, when you look at the fighters of that thing, they're actually pretty average. They're they're a little bit inferior to the black Shokaku, so they would be on par with the regular Shokaku. So yeah, nothing to see here. This is not another Indomitable with regards to that. And so yeah, what is this thing then? It's actually a good thing that it's paired here or matched against the Van Parseval, because yeah, it's kind of in between. So how can I best describe it? So let's maybe talk about the playbook for that thing, because this is going to be very quick. You do send your dive bombers up front right from the beginning, because you absolutely do not care about losing them. You have so many. You try to spot the enemy DDs that you engage with your torpedo bomber squadron, because honestly you cannot really engage any other targets with that thing. They're very weak, very fragile, and yes, if you yeah, I mean the only problem is, of course, you're only going to hit them for 4000 damage, because yeah, again, these things, they're pretty much red all over the place. So there you go. There we do float that mills, but for yeah, no particular use, because we did not really have anything to set them on fire before. So yeah, that's kind of a bit annoying. But yeah, that's in essence the playbook of the Aquila. So you use your dive bombers on battleships all the time, because they do have something that was not in the stats sheet. They do have a pretty high citadel chance actually. So it's really not uncommon for you to citadel battleships with that thing. And yeah, it has one kind of targets that they absolutely like, and we will talk about that at the end of the battle. But yeah, that's really what you do with that thing. You make sure that they are in the air all the time, no matter what. And as soon as you have a battleship like that Roma, you punish him for coming out of, yeah, there you go, that's one citadel for you. You punish it for getting out of position or out of a I think that's it, and we've seen that the fighters are not really fantastic as well, so they're like the Shokaku fighters, so yeah, don't expect too much from them. They're good at baiting what's in front of you, but for the rest, just make sure that you clear the skies before you send your torpedo bombers, because that is really going to help you. If there is an enemy fighter in the sky, those torpedo bombers are not making it to their target. So yeah, and for the rest, there you go, sending our dive bombers again. We've seen that Roma just has been set on fire and he just damage comes. So we are putting back the torpedo bombers and we will try to play the fire and flooding game with the limited means that we have. So there you go, we do Citadel that Roma again. In case you're wondering, so I did test the commander options with that thing. So yeah, there you go, we do flood the Roma and this time it's flooded for good, so yeah, we pulled it off, congratulations. Essentially, so the standard accuracy with a vanilla ship, no edit bonus, and the vanilla with no commander, it's around 61%. If you put a level 12 commander on it with the Dauntless Dive skill, and if you pick the aided bonus, you will be around 64-65%, so again it's pretty comparable with the Indomitable with regards to that. And so that's kind of the Aquila for you. Again, now it's the turn of the Amagi to get targeted, and again we are sending, you see that it's the half of the battle, 2 citadels this time on this guy, and I still have 23 dive bombers in my hangar, so yeah, they're really tough to kill. And even if the enemy manages to kill them, you don't care, because you still have too many of these, so many of these that it will not really make any difference. So yeah, it's a pretty safe CV to play. You're pretty much guaranteed to be active until the end of the battle. But what it's actually not safe to play against, it's for other CVs, because just look at what is going to happen there. The Amagi is not there, it's not between me and the enemy CV, so I can actually send my dive bombers to target what is supposed to be the king of CV hunters at tier 8, and not anymore. Just look at, oh my god. So yeah, if you're a CV playing against that thing, do not get isolated. Always keep a couple of ships between you and the Aquila, because you are going to get punished really hard by that thing. Just don't take my word for it, you just saw what happened to that Percival. So yeah, and it's pretty much the only kind of target against which the dive bombers are really useful, that and battleships, because against cruiser they're not going to deal a lot of damage, and against destroyers they will simply overpen. So there you go. I think we've just revealed the purpose of the Aquila, so let's debrief it now. And there we have the ratings. It is fun, yeah, for me not really, to be honest. Did I enjoy playing that thing? Not so much. Yeah, that's kind of because, yeah, it doesn't leave you with a lot to do, to be honest. If you're an experienced CV player, so yeah, you're probably better off sticking with your Shokaku, your Hornet, or your Sanzine, which are, they're just a completely different experience. And obviously, what this one lacks in fun, it makes up for it in beginner friendliness, because it's really difficult to do anything stupid with that thing, and it's actually more forgiving than the Indomitable. Can you believe it? It's also a bit more complete, because it also has torpedo bomber, so you can actually practice hitting destroyers with it, and you saw me do that in that game with some level of success. So yeah. Yeah, and it's also pretty free-to-play friendly for that reason as well, because having a top commander on it, it's not going to make such a big difference. As I said, it's like 3% damage, something like that, maybe. So yeah, overall rating 3 stars out of 5. Sorry, this is one more for the newer CV players than for the super experienced. The super experienced are probably going to have more fun with the Black Shokaku and other ships like that. But this one, if you are new and you are looking for a ship to start getting familiar with the CV world without doing too many stupid things, then yeah, this is the ship for you, I guess. Better than the Indomitable for that reason. And so here we are, that's the end of the Aquila review. Feel free to drop a comment in the comment section below. As always, like, subscribe, and I will see you for the next one. Bye bye, take care.